Michelle, I share the outrage and sorrow at the people who have suffered from these delays, but the fact is we don't, as a country, spend enough of our money on healthcare. There are gaps of literally billions of pounds in what we invest in terms of our GDP percentage. And of course, the pandemic has had a huge impact, and I think the NHS is still recovering. I've seen the queues outside Tommy's in London on occasion using A&E over Christmas. And this is a very, very traumatic story, really worrying for the people involved. But you get the country you pay for, and we don't spend enough money on healthcare.
Alex, you see, I've got to say, whenever I hear someone say of the left, the answer I always seem to hear when it comes to the NHS is it's more money needed, more money, more money, more money. I personally wouldn't give a penny more to the NHS until I'd picked it up, investigated what's going on and done some serious root and branch reform. Am I wrong?
I don't think so. And our GDP percentage, which I think what Kevin meant, has never been higher in what we've spent on our healthcare system than it is today.
It's less than
and if we carry on spending as we have done on our healthcare system, in the end, we'll only spend on healthcare and nothing else. I think anyone who watched Colin Brazier's show immediately before this one, though, will know one salient fact, which is that demand has spiked in the last year. And that's something that the health service can't be blamed for and can't have foreseen. There's lots of things, I think, structurally that we could look at and revisit about our NHS. But the fact that it's on the numbers we saw on Colin's show, some 75% of serious incidents up in a single year, means no one could have planned for that and no one could have budgeted for it. No one hires 75% more drivers or 75% more capacity on the off chance there's going to be that kind of jump in the next year. So on that statistic, it's actually not somebody's fault. Neither the politicians spending on it, although they're a very easy target to beat up, Kevin, nor the people running the NHS, nor the people delivering the service.
Just to say specifically, Alex, you said our percentage has never been higher, but we don't spend as much as other countries. And I think there's a lot of merit in lots of what you've said, but I do not believe that we invest enough. And when you've got situations like this, and you're right, the NHS has been under extreme stress, but there should be money available to pile into this situation and stop families waiting for ambulances, because there have been billions of pounds wasted during COVID, and that could have done loads of good. Are we supposed to forget about that?
On that we agree.
Money, though, Kevin, because I think that's the big question for me. So, like Michelle says, some of the problems are obvious. People being left in beds for longer, people left on the back of ambulances, the post-pandemic surge, a national shortage in ambulance drivers and paramedics as well. Some of that fits in quite nicely with the government's high job, high wage, economy-led, jobs-led recovery. So some of that fits in quite nicely. Some of the difficult conversations are that we need root and branch reform, as you say. It's almost like we've got this over-bureaucratic behemoth, which is kind of strained under its own kind of weight. And that's the harder argument to have, and really nobody's having that conversation.